All right, awesome. So first thing I want to talk about is Team Cup. And this registration is open right now and goes until the 31st, I think, of January. So really what I want to do is get our team signed up this week so we can just get that done and out of the way. And as participants, there's nothing that you have to do in terms of registration. Except help me pick a name because I'm terrible at picking names for team names. But basically, hopefully you watch that little promo clip. They do Team Cup like every quarter, or not every quarter, probably like twice a year, 3 times a year. They used to do it a lot more. But it's such a good opportunity just to basically work with the group that we have right now and just really dive in and hone in on the activities and setting some goals. And, January is kind of that everybody's hyped up because it's the new year. So February is a great time to do Team Cup because everybody's just kind of coming off that momentum and just keeping it going. So in terms of, I always get that question of, well, what do I have to do to be on Team Cup? There's nothing you have to do. It's just a matter of, I have some different resources, and we'll kind of set up like, it'll be, I want to call it more of like a push. Like, how I'm saying, okay, submit your tracker every Sunday. We kind of decided to do that. So it's going to be like doing that, but like really doing it, like really committing to it, going all in. And so if, we survived the holidays, we got through January, if you're ready to like, okay, I want to do this. Like, I want to go and earn prizes just for hitting Success Club and for getting a few people started. It's a perfect opportunity to do it. It doesn't cost anything to be on a team. It's just a good chance for all of us just to kind of link arms and really work together to achieve the goals. Or to achieve some of the prizes. And I just saw a post of it today. And so I'm kind of excited because one of the prizes is, or if you hit Success Club and you're on a team, it's a foam roller, but like a smaller, skinny one. So I'm excited about that. And then if everybody on our team hits Success Club, there's a sweatshirt. So it's basically just like prizes that Beachbody gives you for just being on a team and showing up and helping at least 3 people. And so I know who is going to all be on our team. I just have to like make sure that nobody doesn't want to be, but I've never really had anybody be like, no, I don't want to be on a team, because it's just such a good, doing a team and there is like a competitiveness to it. But one year it was my first year of coaching, and I started in August, and this was the November Team Cup. Actually, I was on a cup in August, but I had no clue what I was doing. My coach was just like, just help 3 people. And I was like, okay. And so I didn't want to let anybody down. And so I was just doing what I was supposed to do and doing all my activities and all the things. And then in November was when I finally had a few of my own coaches, and we had a team, and we were actually like in the top 10 of the entire network for like the Team Cup teams for most of the month. So it was really awesome. It was brand new coaches like this Team Cup will be. And we just all kind of took off and went, and we won the sweatshirts and like all the prizes and all the things. So it's just a really fun atmosphere and to be a part of. And so, like I said, a lot of who will be on our team is already who's in the thread. So it'll just be kind of like picking up that intensity in that thread a little bit more. But the reason I wanted to talk about it tonight was because even though Team Cup starts February 1st, I really want to challenge you to start prepping for it now. And I'm going to share some of that in a little bit. But a lot of what, even what you did in December, if you kind of look back on how much you were actually posting in December, what you were sharing on your stories, if you were dialed in on your own fitness, you are kind of seeing you're seeing the benefits or reaping the benefits of that in January and in February. And so I don't want you to sit here and be like, okay, well, I'm going to be on a Team Cup, but I'm going to wait until February 1st to like really make sure I'm getting after it. No. Like start tonight after the call, and start doing some of the things I'm going to tell you. And then when February hits, like you're going to build momentum for the end of January and move forward into February as well too. And so I love it. I just have to say this, like every time I open my phone, like to get on Facebook to check into the group or whatever, I'm not kidding. I either see Rachel's face or I see Amanda's face. No joke. And I love that. Like, I'm like, yes. And I know that that's part of like the Facebook algorithm because we're in the groups and we're in the chat and all that stuff, but still like knowing that I pop in and see like that you worked out or see that you did nutrition or whatever, like I just love that. So kudos to you guys for just showing up, even if traction is slow, or even if like, there's not a lot there, people are like, I see it. And sometimes I'm like, oh, I'll go back and like or comment on it later. And then I forget, so it's like, so even though you might be thinking like, oh gosh, like 5 people liked this. Don't worry about that so much. Like people are seeing it. And again, you're building your consistency muscle and you're starting to reap the benefits. And again, I'm going to talk about that so much, how it's so similar to your health and fitness. Like Rachel, your post today about, I can't remember the quote, but just like, if it matters to you, you'll do it. And you have to think of like this as the same way. Like, yes, like you may not get a lot of story views. You may not have a ton of posts or comments or all the things, but you're still doing it and it matters to you and you have something to share. And just know that one person will relate to that and one person will take away from that. And that's all that matters, right? So, okay. So any questions on Team Cup? Like it's honestly just, I'm going to put you on our team. We're going to have a name and then we're just going to like really work together a step higher in February and just really work to meet the goals. One thing that's different that we haven't done, and just because it's a new year and I have some newer coaches, is I would love for us to read a book together. Like we haven't done that as a team for a long time. And so I know, Amanda and Rachel, because you guys are on here right now, I know that we just did The Compound Effect like in November, December. But one book that I want to encourage you to look into is The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. I think that would be a really good book for us to read in February. It's actually because I never read that book until like last year or 2 years ago. And I was like, how did I go this long without reading it? But it's actually a really good follow-up to The Compound Effect. I always love to start people with The Compound Effect and then The Slight Edge. So I'm thinking we should do that in February. I'll pull it out and you might have to look. That gives you a little bit of time on Amazon. It's kind of, the pricing is weird on Amazon. So if you are close to like a bookstore or something, it might be actually cheaper to get it at a bookstore. And then, yeah, so look into that. But The Slight Edge, it's really good. It's one that I like to read like at least every 3-4 months, just because it's good reminders and stuff. So I'm thinking we should read that together in February and just kind of have that be like our team cup PD and all that good stuff. So yeah, awesome. Okay. So if there's no questions on Team Cup, I just want to talk about the tracker a little bit. And just some of the things, because I know we talked about this when we did like kind of that little, when you guys got it started with coaching and new coach it, all that kind of stuff. And tracking is so huge. And I'm trying to hit on it in our challenge groups right now too, about like tracking the things that you want to improve on. And I have one challenger, she started with me in March, and I want to just squeeze her because she is like the perfect challenger. She started in March, and that's when life got crazy and she was kind of up and down, but she was still there. She was still showing up. And like now, 6 months later, 9 months later, whatever, she is just so positive. Like her life has just turned 180 because she's like, I'm just changing one habit at a time. I'm trying to improve one thing at a time. And I'm like, yes, like, okay, this is all worth it. Like one person like understood like what I was trying to help her accomplish and all the things. And I'm like, now if everybody could just do that. But with the tracker too, there are going to be days where you're not going to get everything done on here. And that's okay. That's life. Some coaches will be like, you have to do everything every single day. And I used to feel like that in the beginning when I was grinding really hard. I would beat myself up if my daughter was sick or if something was happening and I couldn't get stuff done. Like I beat myself up, and I don't want you to do that, because this is life, and it's your business to do what you want with it around your life and around your priorities and what matters to you. But that's why using this tracker is so important, because one, I think personally, you'll notice by Friday or Saturday, you can look back on Monday through Thursday. And if you constantly have one box that's totally empty, that's kind of a side note to you to be like, okay, I'm scared of this activity. I'm not sure what to do. And so it's just a good, like, because otherwise, No, I can't. Okay, ask Dad. I'll help you in a little bit. Now I got there. Okay. Now I lost my train of thought. But you'll notice, like, because I do this too. There's one thing that like I hate doing, and it's always empty. And so that's one thing that you can say, okay, is this really, really important for me to do? Or is it something that I need to do right away? And I'll tell you one thing that I really struggled with, and I'm finally cracking down on it, is I can send invites, I can sit down and do that, I can connect with people, I can do all of that. But after I do that, to go back to my inbox and respond to those messages, that's my like downfall, because I'm just always like, oh, what are people gonna say? Here we go, like with the negative, and so I have to be in the right headspace to check my inbox. And so, but that's one thing that I'm like, okay, after I've kind of stacked it in a certain place, and I have certain music on that I listen to while I'm doing it. And so the same thing, like maybe you're like, I hate inviting, like I feel awkward, even though they watch my stories every day. Like I feel so weird. I don't want to do this, but I know I have to. So figure out a way to pump your energy up, and then just do it. Just do it. And so if there's one box that is totally empty all the time, either move that to the first thing you do, or sometimes I'll reward myself. Like I'll be like, you can go take a bath as soon as you clear out your inbox. And guess what? It takes me 2 minutes and then I'm done. And it took me 20 minutes to talk myself into doing it, right? But that's my struggle. And actually the other night I did it before I went to bed. Like I did my controlled stretch. I was laying in bed and I went through and answered messages, and I had a couple like negative, like iffy ones that I was like, oh, this is why I don't do it right before I go to bed. So same thing, like figure out a time for some of these activities and piece them into your day. I know that you both work and you both have other things going on, and I did too when I first started. And so I would just carry this tracker, and when I had 5 minutes, I would open up my phone and I would add 10 people on Facebook, and I would cross it off and I'd move on to the next thing. I was actually, honestly, more productive when I was working full time, because I only had those small slivers of pockets of time. And I wanted to get as much done before 7:00 at night, because I knew, okay, 7:00, I'm probably going to be beat. So I want to try and have as much of this done as I can. So time yourself too. If you're really struggling with getting all of this done, time yourself and see how long it's taking you to do these activities. And if one of them's taking you longer than 10, 15 minutes, then let me know. And then I'll be like, okay, we need to tweak this a little bit, because all of this, yes, you can do all those things, but I really want to help you. And that's going to be kind of a goal of mine in February too, is to kind of help you time manage this to the best of your ability too. Okay. But with that being said, I kind of, to get you ready, like we're halfway through January, to get you ready to even still half the month, you can still help 3 people with the challenge packs, get them started, total solution, all the things, get them started, Hit Success Club. I don't know if you guys know this. I can't remember if like Beachbody sends emails for this or not, or they might say it in the champions page, but they do prizes for Success Club throughout the year as well. So the first, and I can't remember what the prizes are, but like month 1, like, so you hit Success Club in January, it's usually like a shirt or something like that. And then at 3 months, so you hit 3 months of Success Club, you get another prize, then 6 months, then 9 months. So that's something I always shoot for, because I'm like, I want the prizes. Like that motivates me to just to make sure I hit it so I can accomplish those things too. So that's something to look forward to in January, but to build momentum to move us to February as well. So I kind of just wrote down and looked at this, and I was like, okay, if you said to me, I only have this much time, what are the main things I need to do? And I did not write down workout. I did not write down your Shakeology, because as a challenger and as a coach, you guys have been coaching for a couple months now, that should be automatic. Like if you are still struggling to be consistent with your workouts, to be consistent with you don't have to be 100% on your nutrition every day, obviously. But if you're struggling to drink your Energize in the morning or whatever, like then we need to backtrack and be like, okay, you need to be a challenger first, focus on you, focus on your, but I think you guys are past that. You guys are show up every morning. I see you in the group, like we're past that. So that's a non-negotiable. That's a given. Like, you know, that stuff. But if you told me I only have so much time, what should I do to move forward? These are the things that I wrote down. So I wrote sharing, meaning posting and sharing on your stories, which you both are doing. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. And if you feel like, and I don't know if that posting like guide kind of helps a little bit. This is one area that I do struggle with personally. So it's hard for me to like help you with that too. Cause I try to plan out my content, and then sometimes I'm just throwing stuff up to see what sticks, and like, oh, my engagement's low, so let me post a picture of my kids and see if that brings it back up a little bit. So that's a struggle of mine. So, but if you feel like, oh, I feel like I'm posting the same thing all the time, then just switch up what you're taking a picture of. Or if you're in the same space, move to a different space or in a different spot in your house. Or it's hard right now because it's winter, but in the summer, like take pictures outside, take a lot. I mean, you can still take pictures outside in the winter, but just mix that up. Because sometimes even just switching your picture stops people, you know, because after a while, if you're posting the same space in your house, you know, your workout space, for example, like if you're posting that or you're doing the same thing, eventually people are gonna be like, oh, okay, she's just working out again today. Da, 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 da. So switch that up if you're feeling that way, or post your food. That's always my go-to. If I'm like, man, I don't know what to post about, share your food. Because not only does that switch it up, but if you say something like, would you like the recipe? Then that gets people into your inbox, that gets people asking questions, commenting on there, and then post in that thread too. Like when you post something and you're like, okay, I want to make sure I have a couple comments on here to get stuff going, just post that in the thread and we'll all go and like and comment and all those things. But make sure that you're doing that, doing your stories, showing, you know, every aspect of that, like a little bit of your fitness, a little bit of your nutrition, a little bit of you, really dive into you. And so people can get to know you better, and just show them your routine, show them your consistency, and people will start to follow and watch for that. And then again, it's not going to happen overnight, but by the middle, you start today and you can really commit to it. Middle of February, you might have that person that's been watching you since January 1st. Okay, the gym isn't working for me. My nutrition's horrible. I can't figure it out. Can you share more with me about what you're doing? Okay. So just keep showing up, keep doing it. Just keep showing up. That's the biggest thing. Keep showing up and just keep plugging away and sharing your story and your journey. Okay. And then the second thing, so you're sharing, and then connect with those people, the people that are watching. And by connect, I mean, like, let's say you go to your story views and you see Tammy watched your stories, go to her page and see if she's posted anything new, like, comment, just a quick scroll, send her a message. You know, if she's been watching for a while, just reach out and invite her. I always tell myself, like, you're watching my stories is my store. Like, my stories is where I show that I'm up at 5 o'clock, that I'm taking Energize, that I'm working out, it's literally my store. And if you're watching, you're in my store. And so if it was a brick and mortar store and you came in and I didn't say anything to you, would you probably buy something? No, you'd be like, wow, she didn't even ask me 10 times for a pair, you know, to try on this pair of jeans or whatever. Right. So, hi.
You see my castle?
I have not seen your castle. I've got about 10 more minutes and then I'll come look at your castle. Okay.
Can you come and see mine?
I will. Go. Did you get the box out?
Yeah.
Okay. So think of it like that. Think of your stories like your store. All right. And so if somebody gets upset that you reached out to them because they were in your store, then maybe they don't come back, or, you know, or whatever, but they're going to, because they're watching you for a reason. Right. So connecting with them and then inviting them. Right. So same people that are watching, that are liking, and then also any of your like friends that you know, or people that, you know, you guys are still in that space of your warm market, and people that you know, that you work with, and so on. Okay, I'm almost done. Can you give me 5 more minutes? No, I can't help you right now. Give me 5 more minutes. So you're connecting, you're inviting, and then following up. Following up is huge. And if I invite somebody 2 days later, I follow up with them. I'm like, "Hey," I either say, I saw that you got," or I saw that you saw my message. I'll send you guys what I say. I don't say I saw that you saw. I know that you saw my message, I think is what I say. Hope I didn't offend you. I'm just super excited about this program and this group. And a lot of times people saw it and got busy with kids, got distracted and didn't respond. Or sometimes they just don't know what to say, or sometimes they don't see it. They're not always in Messenger like we are. So following up is huge. And especially when somebody says, like, I sent you guys, I shared that conversation. As soon as somebody's like, "Yeah, hey, I'm interested, tell me more," and I ask them about their goals, I'm checking up with them like every 24 hours, 48 at the most. But like tonight, if somebody said, "Yeah, hey, I want more information," if I don't hear from her by like tomorrow night, I'll probably shoot her another message. And I try to like respond or follow up just like we were having a conversation or face to face. I'm like, "Hey, did you happen to see my message? Like, do you have any goals you want to focus on?" That's as simple as I keep it. I used to send like a 10-page paragraph about, "Hey, I'm not sure if I bothered you or if you were interested. I just wanted to follow up with you." I used to send like paragraphs. Now I'm just literally like if I sent Rachel a message tonight and she didn't get back to me and I really needed to know, I would text her again tomorrow and be like, "Hey, did you see my message? Like, do you have goals?" Type of thing. So that's how I try to follow up, especially when they tell me they want information. Because then it's like I want to keep that fire hot. I want to keep it stoked, and I want to just keep that rolling. So that whole conversation piece I sent you, I try to work through that as soon as I can, as quickly as we can roll through that conversation, that getting to know their goals and their fitness and all that stuff. So I work through that way. So following up is huge too. And this was one that I didn't really struggle with in the beginning, but I kind of did because I didn't want to bother people. And I struggled with it because my coach invited me and I signed up like 30 minutes later. Like I did not sit there on the fence like, "Oh, should I not?" So I struggle to follow up because I really don't want to bother people. But I also know, just I've noticed this with 9-week control freak. Some people literally wait, and I'm this way too. Like they literally wait until the last possible second, and then it's like, "Okay, I want to do it." So, but if you're not following up with them or like keep, touching out to see how they're doing, pulse check on them, then they do forget, right? So, but I'm totally that way. Like, do you ever get those sales and it's like last 2 hours to save 50%? I'm like, "Oh my gosh, okay, here we go. Let's buy the whole thing because I forgot," right? So I'm very much that way. And I've noticed that in the last month or so, like a lot of people, like if I give them like that hard deadline of the 16th, I guarantee you like Friday, Saturday, I'll have more people be like, "Oh yeah, I want to do it." Then like right now it's crickets. But as soon as Friday, when I do my follow up and I'm like, "Hey, today's your last chance," right? So following up is huge. So these next 2 weeks, to help you hit Success Club and to build that momentum, even go back to those people November, December, even go back to your posts from November, December, your coming out posts, all that kind of stuff. Just start reaching out to those people and just connecting with them. You don't have to straight out invite them right away, but go to their page and can you send them a message about something they posted about? Or even if it's somebody that's still watching your stories, you see them popping up. This is what I sent last week, I think. I just said, "Hey, I'm getting ready to open up my January group. Any chance you're interested?" Just super simple as that, because I'm like, either you are or you aren't. If you're not, then I'll follow up with you in February. But if you are, let me share with you about 9-week control freak or about MBF or whatever it might be. Okay. So focusing on those 4 things will be huge, just to get you in that consistency and in that habit and that routine. And then by February, we'll be off to the races and you won't have to think about, should I do this? Should I do that? And it'll just become more routine and habit. Okay. One tip for that is so I started coaching in August, and in October, November, December, they did I can't even remember what they called it, but anyways, they shared, like the people from corporate, they shared calendars for October, November, December, and every day of the month had 3 lines on it. And they challenged us to fill out those 3 months and put 3 names down on that calendar every single day. And I printed it off and I filled it out, and I actually wrote really small and put 5 names in every month or every day for October, November, December. And those were the seeds that I was going to plant. So I literally went through my friends list and I wrote out 5 names all the way through for October, November, December. And when it came up to October 1st, I didn't have to think about it. I went to those 5 people and I invited them. And then October 2nd, I went to those 5 people and I invited them. Nowadays, what I do is I do the same thing, but like, let's say it's October 1st. The week before that, I'll go to those people that I'm going to invite the next week, and I'll go to their page and I'll just like and comment a little bit, give them some engagement, see what's going on before I invite them. But what I want to encourage you to do is do something similar. Like print off one, this is going to just make it so you have no excuse. It's already done. You already know who you're going to invite. And 2, it's just going to help you get in that routine consistency of inviting and connecting with people and kind of getting that flow and that funnel going. So I would definitely print off a February calendar, mark 3 lines at least every day, and fill it out. Fill it out. And then every day you have a few minutes, take 3 of those days and engage with those 9 people that you know you're going to invite. And even you could do that for the rest of January too, right? Tomorrow is the 14th. You could do 2 weeks, 15th through the 31st of connecting and inviting with people. So I really want to encourage you to do that just as kind of a way to get out of your own head about inviting, to practice it more, to be consistent with it, and just really also plant more seeds. You plant, let's see, there's 28 days in February times 3. What's that, like 80 something, right? You plant 80 seeds in February. Even if nothing comes of those 80 seeds, you still planted 80 seeds. And what's going to happen in March and April and May, right? So that's my challenge for you to focus on the rest of January and then moving into February in Team Cup. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to check the comments the chat, because I know. Yes, exactly. Posting in the morning so it's out of the way. I love that. That's such a good idea.
I loved that. I've been listening to that call that was about the conversations or whatever.
Yes.
I was listening to it in the car on the way to work like 2 days in a row. And
Yes.
I really loved that. I just felt like I was doing everything wrong.
And that's why I shared that call, because I think it was at May of last year, but I was starting to do something. I was doing something similar to that. And then I listened to that call and I was like, boo, like, and it's so true. It's like all about asking questions. And you'll notice, like, if the first thing you ask is like, what are your goals? And they never respond, or they don't answer you, or they're just like, well, tell me how much it is. Then it's like, then you kind of know, okay, this person, they're not invested. They really, it's a good pulse check for you, because sometimes, especially in the beginning, and somebody says, I'm interested, and you're like, oh my gosh, okay, here we go. Like, let me, and so we get more excited and more invested than they do. And then if they say no, or they ghost you, then you take it personally. So by asking these questions though, you can just learn to pulse check, but then you also, then you're learning more about their goals. And, if Ultimate Portion Fix would be good for them, or To Be Mindset, or I like it right now because there's so many programs out there that somebody tells me, like today, somebody goes, I don't have weights. Like, is there anything I can do? I'm like, yes, there is. And so then I was like sending them some different clips to check out. So asking those questions, you get a pulse check on them, but then it makes you a real human too, and better for you to learn it now than like 4 years in, like I did. So
like, that girl that I called you about that had all those allergies. So I sent her that stuff, and then she like didn't really email me back. And then I texted her again and I was just like, hey, did you have any time to look over that? And she was like, yeah, I'm leaning towards, like, she was leaning towards the one like that was just the program, and I was like, oh, okay, like, I mean, because that's fine, whatever she wants to do. But she then she said, she's like, oh, my friend was telling me about this app, like she does or whatever. And I was like, oh, what is it? And it was like just this random app on like that you can get on iPhone. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, and I don't even remember what I said back to her, to be honest, but I don't really know how to like follow up because I don't want to seem like I'm pestering her, but
Right.
I also know that like by looking at what the app was on my phone, like she's gonna get way more out of this than she would that.
Right.
You know? And I don't want to seem like I'm dissing anything, but
Right, exactly. Well, and sometimes I think, especially right now in January, people see, and I'm sure that app is free or like $5 or something. So I think most people kind of look and they're like, well, I can do this app for free. I'll just do that. And so don't get discouraged. I mean, I would check up with her like one more time, maybe like next week, and just say, hey, we're getting ready to kick off my next group. I just wanted to see, if you wanted to chat more about it or you thought more about it. And then just kind of see what she says. But then that's a person you follow up with in February, like give her a couple weeks, keep her on the back burner, like make sure, she posts anything, like you comment on it or like it or whatever. Just kind of but don't get discouraged by that, because that's not you at all. That's just her kind of being like, still, oh, like, I want to change my health, but like, oh, this looks like an easy way out. So let me try this first type of thing,
Yeah.
So, and that was a good experience for you to kind of have that conversation and figure out like how to combat that objection and so on. So I would just,
it's all definitely a learning experience.
Yes. Yeah. So whenever the last time you talked to her was, I would just next week, Monday, Tuesday, hey, hope you had a good weekend, and you work with her, so you could say something about work or whatever. And then I would just say, hey, we're getting ready to kick off the group. This pack is only on sale through the rest of this month. So I just wanted to circle back, see if you had any questions or if you thought more about it, and then just see what she says. And then if she's still like, oh, I'm using this app and blah, 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 then like 2 weeks later, then I would just check back again and be like, I don't want to bother you, but we have this group and this is what we're doing and da da da. So
okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And if you need help, if you need more help than the da 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 da, just let me know.
So you could do the accountability part too, like being able to like have, I can, like with our Zoom in the morning, I can work out with my friends, like hooking up with that group.
Yeah,
that's what I like about it.
It's not going to do that.
Right.
And also, I wanted to tell you guys too, I posted this today and then I kind of forgot about it. I asked in the groups what people were loving about their group or their program. And I did that because I wanted us to be able to screenshot them and like cross out their name and then share that on our stories. So feel free. Hey, can you grab my water? Please, can you get my water? I wanted to be able to use that, but I'm like, that'd be good for you guys too. Cause there's one coach, actually Jess Carey, the gal that did that call on the conversations. I like to follow her on Instagram just because, or I watch her stories to get some ideas, but then also because first off, she's a mom of 5, just saying, it's insane.
The
and
blonde
she's
one?
like the most jacked woman ever. But anyways,
what's her name?
Jess Carey. Jessica, I think, is on Instagram. But anyway, she always so she and her team, they do like their energized dances in the morning and they tag each other. And then she posts her workout. And then she almost always has like 1 or 2 or 3 like client testimonials in her stories. And I'm like, I love that, because those people that are watching that, I'm going to do this app, but then, and it doesn't matter that it's my challenger or Amanda's, that doesn't matter. Like, it's just somebody in our group saying, oh my gosh, I love 9-week control freak. I lost 5 pounds in the first week. Post that on your stories, right? Like, use that. So, and that's why I asked that, because then I was going to tell you guys too. I'm like, use those comments because that's huge. And so I'm always kind of trying to look for wins to share. That's kind of one of my goals of this year, is just to be able to share more about my clients and what they're doing. Because I think that's what a lot of people need. And I don't think they always think that they get that just by working out at home, type of thing. So.
Can you write her name in the bottom so I can follow her too?
Yes.
I don't know if I'm spelling it right.
Okay, it's Jessica Carey, but I'm not sure. I don't know if I have my phone. Otherwise, I'll screenshot her page and send it to you too.
Jessica carries 5.
Maybe. Where's my phone? Can you go find my phone?
I think it is.
Here, I'll ping it so you can find it. Can you go find it for me, please?
It looks like it. She's a mom of 5. She's confident.
I bet that's her. Like jacked.
Yeah.
She hasn't. I can't find.
Yeah, right now. Can you find it, Cambry? There's only. Okay, listen for it. Listen.
That's cool.
Kason, can you go find my phone?
That is so funny. She has like all these girls like dancing in front of her. Like
yeah, that's fine. You can. But you know, for somebody that like needs community though, if you just stumbled upon that and you saw that, wouldn't you be like, wow, I want to, I'm like, and that's part of, okay, awesome. Yes. And I don't remember, and I only follow like a couple coaches that inspire me to like be better, right? Obviously. But I started watching her stories in November, I think maybe. And you know, every day it's like I see her and her team and her friends like doing all this. I'm like, that's where like this year I was like, I want community. Like I mean, obviously like I can't dance like that. Then I want you guys to dance like that either. It's fine.
Don't ask me to.
But just that whole like, you know, if you stumbled across her stories and you were somebody that like needed a community, like you'd want to be a part of that, right? And so I think we can do that too. Like we can, and that's why like I will ask that question, and I'll try to like throw more questions out like that throughout the group too, just to get more, you know, things for us to share. Because I think eventually, you know, like you guys are still right now, like people are looking at you and seeing what you're doing and your results. But once you can start bringing in other people's results too, then it's not just you that's seeing success, it's them too, you know? So
can we, or we could just do this like on our own too, but I might like at the bottom of my coach tracker, like put something about like nutrition.
Yeah.
Just because then it's something that like, since I look at that tracker like every day, you know, then that's something that can be like me saying, okay, I ate right all day.
Yep.
Because otherwise I feel like it's one thing to like type it out in the group, like, but I feel like you know, like you'll look at my tracker more than like the other people look at my post in Facebook.
Right.
So I feel like then I'll be more accountable.
Yes.
Speaking of the tracker, where do I drop it at?
What, Amanda? Sorry.
Where do I put the tracker at? Because I apparently missed that hard last week.
And we have that new coach pod. Don't worry. Don't worry about that group anymore. Just go to the United Dynasty coach thread and just share it in there.
Oh, okay.
And I think Rachel shares it as a PDF. If you just want to take a picture of it, like because I actually use a different tracker, for me. I just have more things that my brain needs. But like this one, so I just laminated this, because then I was like, okay, at the end of the week, I can look at my tracker and then like mark it on here to share with you guys too. So, but I always print it. Like every week, like I just reprint my tracker. But if digital works for you, awesome. Like I don't know. I'm just paper, pencil, always have been.
It's the teacher in us.
I think so.
I have to have mine. Like I went and found a 5 subject notebook out of my husband's things. I was like, I can't have things online. Like my office is full of notebooks and pads, and
it must
have like 7 notebooks for everything. Not right now, honey.
Like if you could, if you ever come here and like look through my stuff, you'll be like, why do you even have that? Why? I still have all my notebooks from when I started coaching. Like when I took notes on team calls and listened to calls, because Rachel, when I had to drive too, 20 minutes one way when I first started. And so I was constantly listening to videos and recordings, and that's why I'll keep sharing them, because I know that like is helpful. Yeah. But like I would just, on my lunch, I'd be listening and I would be taking notes, and
Is there like I wish there was a place you could go to like listen to a bunch of those like video. Do they have like, what are those like 411 videos or
Yeah,
those, like,
I was gonna say I watched some Team 411 or something.
Okay, so I'm gonna. Okay, then don't click on that. Okay, I'm gonna type in here. So the Beachbody Champions page on Facebook. I don't. If I didn't add you to that, let me know. Otherwise, just search it, and I think you just have to put in your coach ID. But the Champions page, there is a ton of trainings in there. And actually, I think they go live in there like 3 times a week and have videos. And they actually had a lot of the top coaches last year, I think, make some trainings on social media and like on the business activity tracker. So they have good trainings on there too. And then I think I added you guys. You might just be pending approval for the Dream Team coach page. That is where like that call from Jess Carey came from. And I try to share the calls into our threads and stuff. But that is I'm trying to think here. She's my like 4th upline is Melanie. She was the top coach for 5 years in a row. Like if you want to like look up some good training, just type in Melanie Mitchell on YouTube. Here, I'll type her name. I watched her videos on repeat when I was starting. But that's who I learned a lot from was Melanie Mitchell. And she is she's one of the coaches in our organization and stuff. So yeah, the Champions, the Dream Team coach page that will have, and she actually has a unit and it should have all the recordings from 2020 in there. And they also do a new coach training series every Wednesday. So it wouldn't be a bad idea to jump and listen to those too. If you're not in the Dream Team yet, I know that I added you guys, but it said pending approval by admin or whatever. So if you're not in there yet, just hang tight or you try to request access if you can. But
is it like Beachbody Dream? Oh, the Dream Team coach.
The Dream Team coach page, yeah. Yep. Oh, but then, okay, so the TBB 411, that is, so the National Wake Up Call, it's a call they do on Mondays, and they've been doing it for as long as I've been a coach, longer than that even. So if you have like the podcast app and stuff, they actually have them all on podcast. So you could go back to like whenever they first started them and listen to all of them. And they started doing them on video last year, I think. So those are lots of good resources too. The National Wake Up Call. So.
Just
are you finding it, Rachel?
Yeah.
I was listening to the influence one today, and I got caught at work for listening to it.
Oh shoot.
Well, I was doing billing and listening to it and taking notes at the same time, and they're like, "What you doing?" Nothing.
Just listening to.
Like, I'm just listening to one of my podcasts for the day.
Is the like our rank is like distributor or something like that, or what would
coach? Yep.
Just coach. Okay.
Coach. Yeah. Yep.
It lets me into it.
The Dream Team?
You just have to like answer some questions.
Perfect. Good deal. So yeah, and then if you go into the units there, I know that she started doing the 2021 recordings, and I think 2020, I think all those recordings are in there too. And the new coach.
Okay. Cool. Well, thanks.
Yeah, of course. Of course, of course. All right. Sorry, this went a little long tonight, but
that's okay.
Sharing all the things.
It was a lot of good info.
God. Any other questions or any? No. I love that though. Back to what you said, Rachel, about like struggling to post and then you're just doing it right away to get it done and out of the way. Like if that's the best thing you can do is if there's anything you're struggling with, like do it right away before your brain talks you out of it. Like just like your workout, do it first thing so you you have no excuses and you can't talk yourself out of it. So
Yes.
awesome. All right.
Thank you.
Hang on 1 second. Hang on.
No, I don't know where your phone's at.
Watch out. Your hair's gonna be a mess. She got out of the shower right before we got on the call, and you haven't brushed it. It's like dried now. I forgot to do this last week, but I'm gonna do a boomerang, and I'll post it. Okay, can you get out? Can you get out of here, please? 'Cause I don't want to see him. All right, ready, set, smile. You're in. Whatever. You can be in it. It's fine. All right, awesome. Well, have a good night, you guys. If you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out and think of a good name for Team Cup because I am horrible at coming up with names. So I feel like Rachel is the one that would come up with a good one. I don't know why.
I am not good with names.
No.
No.
All right.
Everything I have is cheesy, so.
Well, it's all right.
Mine too. Well, I'll try though.
I'll think of some and I'll throw them out there to you. We'll come up with one. So
Sounds good.
all right. Have a good night, guys. We'll talk to you soon.